Harriet Jacobs by Savannah Korok for American Literature. Early life. Harriet Jacobs was born into slavery in Indenton, North Carolina in 1813. She learned to read and write, which was rare for enslaved people. She was orphaned at age 6 and became the property of a cruel master. Here is a map of Indenton, like a historical map of the time. Struggles in slavery. She endured years of sexual harassment by Dr. Norcom, who is called Dr. Flint in her book. She entered a relationship with a white lawyer, Samuel Sawyer, to escape Norcom's control. She had 2 children, which she feared they'd be sold, which is an important piece of information because later on we'll talk about how her themes talked a lot about her children. Hiding for freedom. She lived for 7 years in a tiny crawl space in her grandmother's attic. She could not sit or stand fully in the space. She watched her children from a small peephole. Here is a depiction of what it was most likely like, just to give a rough idea in the crawl space. Path to freedom. She escaped to the north in 1842. She continued to fear being recaptured under the fugitive slave law. She gained legal freedom in 1852 when friends bought her freedom. Here is a little newspaper excerpt of talking about the fugitive slave law. Her famous work, Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl, one of the first slave narratives written by a woman, published under the name Linda Brent, and exposed the sexual exploitation of enslaved women. And then here is one of the numerous book covers of her book. Major themes in her writing: sexual abuse and powerlessness of enslaved women, motherhood and the desire to protect her children, resistance and survival, and the hypocrisy of Christian slaveholders. All of these themes go back to her experiences in slavery and what that was like for her. Here is a depiction of a mother with her 2 children, and it shows a lot in her writing. Powerful lines from her work. Slavery is terrible for men, but it is far more terrible for women. I would 10,000 times rather that my children be the half-starved paupers of Ireland than to be slaves in America. This shows the emotional and psychological depth, emphasizes her maternal love and moral outrage. Impact and legacy. She inspired future writers and activists. Her book remains a vital account of the female slave experience. It helped people understand the gendered reality of slavery. I think that's a really important part of her work, is that not only is it a depiction of slavery, but it's also a depiction of what it was like for women or for mothers specifically. Later life. She worked with the American Missionary Association during and after the Civil War. She helped freed people in the South. She died in 1897 in Washington, D.C., and here is a photo of her grave. Why she still matters today. Her courage in writing continued to inspire. She is an essential voice in American history, especially in African American and women's literature. She is part of the foundation of resistance literature. And then here is the original cover for her book. Thank you.